the issue. It's not uncommon in a large archdiocese like this one that consolidations would be thought of and be in the planning stage. At the stage I'm in, which is putting my big toe in the water this morning, I certainly have to look at this very carefully, listen to a lot of people, do a lot of studying, and a lot of prayer. But I understand it's an important process, and it's one that I look forward to coming to know and carrying forward as appropriate. So it's certainly going to be on the agenda. Please.
I know that you did a leader of sorts in some of the major issues of the day, healthcare consumption, the gay marriage issue. Do you feel that maybe the Vatican is looking to put you a little closer to Washington and leadership there with this position?
Yes, the Vatican decided that I was spending entirely too much time on the U.S. Airways shuttle, and so they moved me to Baltimore, so I'm a train ride away. I don't know, one never knows what goes into an appointment, but I would have to say the very thought of teaching the faith, promoting and defending religious liberty, and serving the common good of society from a chair once occupied by Archbishop John Carroll is very humbling. And I hope it will be a source of great strength and great grace for whatever the Church calls me to do. Please.
You've been engaged in that religious liberty discussion for a long time, especially recently. What first sparked your interest and why is it so important?
Well, first of all, I think it is an issue that should concern all of us as Americans. I don't have a huge number of hobbies, but one hobby that I have is American history. And if you do any reading at all in American history, you come to love all the more this great noble experiment that is our participated democracy. And as someone involved in the leadership of the Church over the years, it was hard to miss that there's been an erosion of religious liberty over time, sometimes through laws, sometimes through court decisions, and sometimes simply through the increasing secularity of the culture. And so in my own mind and heart, as in the minds and hearts of many, it began to solidify as an issue that needed to be dealt with in a concerted way. And so I was very gratified when the Bishops' Conference last summer decided to make this one of our major priorities, and then Cardinal Dolan asked me to help carry forward this effort. So I think it's something that I've come into gradually, but now I'm in it with both feet, I'd say. Please. Great question. Thank you. I've always, since I've been in the Diocese of Bridgeport, I've done a monthly column. The paper there comes out every month. I understand the review comes out every other week. Is that true? Meaning that my deadlines will come twice as often. And, you know, I'm sort of like the kid in college, you know, that works well under pressure. So I hate to tell you this, but the looming deadline helps focus my thoughts. I also write a column for the Columbia magazine, the Knights of Columbus, every month, so that's another deadline that is upon me. I think that when the gospel was first proclaimed, In the days of the Roman Empire, we used the system of transportation, the roads and the waterways, to bring the gospel. Today, it's certainly the print media still, it's certainly the electronic media, television, but it's also through the more modern, contemporary social communications, not simply websites, but also the more interactive forms of this. This is where young people are. This is where some of this new evangelization is driven forward. And this is also where you sometimes find people interested in giving their lives to a vocation as well. So these are all instruments of the gospel. We realize, like every form of communication, it can be misused and it has a downside, but I think it has many more upsides than downsides. Any other questions? Sir, oh, please, I see it. Well, as the Archbishop of Baltimore, I will also be the president of the Maryland Catholic Conference in Annapolis, collaborating with Bishop Malooly and Cardinal Wuerl. And certainly that's a very important thing for the church to be well represented there. And I want to pay special tribute this morning to Mary Ellen Russell, who runs the Maryland Catholic Conference day to day. I've known Mary Ellen for many years, and I think it's important for us to be there, not only looking after the interest of the church, but also the church comes to this as a provider for the common good. Educational services, social services, pastoral services. In almost every locale you can think of, the church is the largest provider of those services, next to the government, which mentioning that does not provide pastoral services, of course. And I think it's very important that we are there not only representing the interest of the church, but looking for all the ways in which we can serve the common good. Other questions? Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me. Well, first of all, Cardinal O'Brien, you've made it a great priority in the Archdiocese of Baltimore, and there is a great group of seminarians already here in the Archdiocese of Baltimore, and I think that many seeds have been planted, and so as St. Paul says, somebody comes along and plants the seed, and another one comes along and waters the seed, and still others tend the seed, and God gives the growth. So priority number one, everybody will tell you this, and I'm just the last one to do it, it's prayer. Prayer is the first thing. When we pray for vocations, God sends vocations. And so that's number one. And number two, it's a partnership. We have a fine vocations program with Father Austin Murphy, and Bishop T. Austin Murphy ordained me a deacon, by the way. And so we have a fine vocations program already underway. I think it's important that all of us, clergy and religious, encourage those who have been called to priesthood and consecrated life to respond. And that's also the importance of the family. Vocations are born in families that keep the faith and that love the church and want to be generous with their young in the service of the church. So I'm very hopeful as we go forward that God will send us many vocations. You're letting me off easy. Listen, thanks everybody, and great to be with everybody. And I really want to thank everybody for coming here this morning to greet me. And I just ask that you keep me very much in your prayers in the weeks and the months ahead. I'm very humbled, and I look forward to serving you. God bless you all.